Welcome to Fridays with Foster. I'm your host, Foster. I'm here in one of the call rooms at Logic Everyday Community, and it's nice. It's quiet. Nice change of environment for me. And today, I am having a sweet cream. I cannot open the straw, but it'll be okay. Sweet cream cold brew. I think I may have had it once before on the show, but here we go. I'm a fan of cold brew, I'll tell you that, because it's pretty strong, which you know I like. And the sweet cream is good. It's could use a little more sweet cream, only because technically I'm cheating right now. I've been drinking black coffee lately and no cream, so I expected it to be a little bit sweeter. So when the first word of the name is sweet cream, I think we expect it to be a little bit sweeter, but it's not bad at all. That one was actually a little bit better. Maybe it needed to settle. So today, what are we going to talk about? Something that we may have talked about before, but I don't care. It is important enough to talk about. So there were saying that my dad and I had always when we worked together was cash is king, right? It's not ours, but it's been passed down along the lines. Cash is king. The other side of that is the revenue and profit line. So the revenue is for vanity, profit is for sanity. Well, Vern Harnish in his book Scaling Up talks about putting all three of those together, which is revenue is for vanity, profit is for sanity, and cash is king. Well, what's that mean? What's the difference? Okay, so revenue is the total top line sales. Obviously, very important. Without revenue, we don't even have anything to start subtracting from, right? So revenue, top line sales, also called income, also called just sales, right? So the top line revenue is the first thing. Second thing we talk about is profit. So obviously the bottom line, profitability. So profit means, you know, when you take everything away that you need in order to run your business, pay your people, buy materials, cover salaries, cover commissions, cover the lease payments in the building, whatever that might be, how much money do you have left over? That's profit, right? Pretty important. A lot of businesses out there and a lot of business owners will go around town talking about their revenue. We're a $10 million company, we're a $130 million company. But what they often don't like to talk about is their profitability or lack thereof, because they don't want to tell you that they worked harder than they ever worked this year, made more money, revenue, sales, income, top line than they ever have, and maybe made the smallest margins that they ever had. Or worse, even if the margins aren't the smallest, but if the margins were so small that they made the least amount of money than they ever have. And that's not because they bought out some partners. There were no acquisitions going on or competitors. There no acquisitions. There's nothing going on. It was just misspent, mismanaged money, right? So profitability, I look at, as most people do, as a percentage, is extremely important. But the last thing we talk about, cash is king. What's that mean? Well, that is the most important thing. You can have top line revenue through the roof. Okay, you could have grown 20 to 30 times, or I should say 20 to 30%, although I have worked with people that want to grow 20 to 30 times. I have had people that have grown 85% in 1 year, which is a lot, top line revenue, and that's wonderful. But then we talk about the next part of it. Well, how much of that do you keep, right? From profitability standpoint, how much of that is actually yours to keep from a true net profit standpoint? And that's wonderful. Let's say we have that. We have high top line revenue, there's been growth, it's great. Then we have a significant increase or a decent increase or even consistency in profit margin. If you're happy with your profit margin and you continue to grow your revenue year after year and you can keep that same percentage of profit margin, that's actually very good. But if you don't actually have that money, you can't find it, now what? And I've gone through this with clients many times before, and we go through their numbers from the previous year, and we say, okay, so the net profit says, $32,000. And they say, okay, Foster, where's that money? Where's that $32,000? Well, some of it was being used to pay something off from before. Some of it is being used to buy the materials or pay the labor for something that's going to be coming up. And that is where your cash is, or lack thereof. So one thing that we talk about in scaling up is they talk about the idea of the cash conversion cycle. How can we eliminate mistakes? How can we speed up cash flow? Our invoicing process, do we make it easy to pay, et cetera, et cetera? There are a lot of opportunities there to actually affect positively the speed at which we get paid, right? Which increases the amount of cash we have in our account at any given time. So it's not simply about raising prices, and it's not simply about selling more. We need to have a full understanding and control of how our money is functioning, because cash is in fact king. So before we get into other methodologies and strategies for cash flow, what we want to do is make sure that we understand the difference between the three and treat them accordingly. They are all important, but if there's one that's more important than the others, it is cash is king. So go through your books, make sure you have a full understanding, even if it's uncomfortable. Just because you don't know the reality doesn't mean it's not your reality. So a lot of people don't want to go to the doctor because they don't want to get sick. my grandfather always used to say that. My grandfather, Dan Janik, on my mom's side, said, every time I go to the doctor, I get sick. So not going to the doctor doesn't mean I'm not sick. Not knowing your numbers, your lack of cash flow, your lack of profitability does not mean that you don't not have it. It's an issue whether you know it or not. But the only way to start with it is to actually be honest with yourself and start figuring it out. So without further ado, thanks for your time. Remember, life is too short for bad coffee. See you next time.